Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Patch 09 has just dropped in Sons of the Forest, and in this video we're going to cover all the new features and skim through the improvements, cover all the important stuff. So let's get started. So first, when we read the notes, it states, "Hey everyone, this patch fixes a bunch of bugs." Well, I think you missed the bug there in Night, because I loaded in this server and I don't know if somebody mixed some eggnog stew with a little liquid battery. It was like another dimension. I mean, squiggly things through the sky, this heavy just smacking the heck out of a headless two-bodied something falling through the sky. I don't know, but for the most part, the game does appear to be working really well. I will get into some of the things that I've noticed in just a bit. So the first thing they've added is the new large female cannibal, and while walking around half naked, also launches a vicious shoulder attack, knocking the player to the ground. Next, Night says they've added a returning endgame creature, and since the demon boss has been roaming around the island for months now, it can only be the mutant boss, and I haven't played that much in Patch 09 yet, so I just went to my castle, Trapzilla, and added about 10 of these guys and just let them roam around and get themselves killed. Now to place your radio. So what you're going to want to do is click your mouse wheel and find a place you want to place the radio, right click, and voila, there you go. Just turn it on, jam out, and build something. Now for the new trap, it is a radio alarm trap, and this will be in your survival manual under traps. It's 13 sticks, 8 bones, 1 stone, 1 skull, 1 piece of wire, and a radio. And it looks like this once constructed. Has a little wire with a trigger on the ground, and enemies run across it, and this sucker is loud. I mean, just listen to the onslaught of cannibals trying to sneak into this base. Not on my watch. Now for something new and fun. Yes, creepy enemies now can be exploded into chunks, whether it be a puffy, whether it be fingers, whether it be a double dragon, aka the twins. Look at them just blowing into chunks into air. Beautiful. However, mutant babies still hold the title for worst enemy ever. So now for one of those buggy fixes that actually does work. This is Castle Trapzilla prior to Patch 09, and as you can see, I'm flying over the base. See how it's rendering in as I fly slowly over. Now this is actually early stages, still finishing up the foundation. I'm going to skip ahead to post Patch 09 Castle Trapzilla, and look at this beast. Look at how beautiful it is. It is rendering in at the back, you can see, but for the most part, everything's there. It seems to be working. That was one of the improvements. Base performance, large bases should run much better with these newest changes. And yes, I must agree, they did a good job on this. Always love it when a big base doesn't lag, doesn't look sloppy. It just looks beautiful. Now for another goodie, this a greatie. It's this inventory speed sensitivity under your controls. It defaults at 0.45. I'm going to take it up to 0.99. Then I'm going to pull out my inventory and look at this. Look how fast it just moves around, opening containers, picking out food, going to my armor. I used to hate the 0.45 default speed. Took forever to put on your leafy armor. So now a shout out to all my builders out there. Here's one you guys are going to really love. It's the new batch place input. And whenever you're building, instead of having to keep going back to your survival manual to pull out the blueprint you want, all you got to do is pull your blueprint out, hold down the left shift key if you're on keyboard mouse. If you're on controller, hold down the left stick. But anyways, all you're going to do is right click or place the blueprint. And as long as you're holding that left shift or pressing down the left stick, you can just place as many as you want. So that's it for the features. Onto the improvements. Now I'm not going to cover them all. There's a lot. And what I'll do for you guys, I'll put a link, Patch 09 notes, put a link in the description and pin one in the comments. So take a look at that for the full list. But I'm just going to mention some of these. So first, loot pouches now can be opened even if the player is full on some of the items in the bag. Items that the player is full on are dropped when cleared from the map. Now this is pretty cool because I do remember whenever I was playing legit and I would constantly get those skim pouches. I only could open like 1 or 2, and then it was like I couldn't open up anymore for like days until I ran out of like the ramen that I was full on, or I don't know. cat food or something like that. Next, they have added jumping capability to the Armsy. Now, last update, they added the Armsy to the game, and I'm just including this one because I actually caught a group of Armsies jumping around like there was just no tomorrow. Kelvin now can find stones when players not around, so I guess old Kelvin was having an issue with that prior to this, so there you go. Traps will now cause damage to larger enemies and sometimes knock them down. Now, I did test out the John 2s or the Slinkies, Caterpillars, whatever. I'll show that here in just a second. I've not tested out some of the other enemies. I know heavy cannibals, for example, do not get hurt when they're walking across the spring trap. So I'll have to do a little bit more research on this and get back to you guys on that. Plants growing in plots now can be harvested when they are at 70% of their full growth size. The growth time of plants has not been changed. Only the scaling of the plant will be different with this change. So whoop-de-doo, you can harvest your plants a little bit earlier. Adjusted the positioning of the pendulum on the Hokey Pokey trap so that the end of the rope would not look disconnected at the anchor point. Can't say that I've ever noticed that, but I may have to go to my Hokey Pokey house at Castle Trapzilla and check that out. Now for some trappies that I was able to test. So the John 2 will now properly set off traps. Now these are the Bone Maker traps and these are being set off. I have not tested the spring or the fly trap, whatever the non-flammable trap similar to the Bone Maker is. But anyways, this is the Hokey Pokey and got about 10 of them here in the old Hokey Pokey house and they don't seem to be going off, so I'm gonna have to say they don't properly set off all of the traps. Next, improve the positioning of the UI interaction for ropes. Now, I have used some ropes since patch 09. Can't say that I've noticed anything different with that. Seems to be the same. Also, climbing ropes now stop at the surface of the water rather than go to the bottom. Now, I wish I would have known that prior. I can't say that I knew that the ropes could go underwater. The Fly Swatter and Bone Maker traps will now do some damage to the player if they set them off. I thought they already did, but I may be mistaken. The Fly Swatter, that was the other one. I have not tested that on the John 2. All traps have been adjusted to be able to be placed on steeper slopes to make placement less restrictive. Now that sounds pretty cool. I have noticed that in the past with my Frontier Fort style base I built a couple of months ago. Ran into a lot of problems with that on inclines. Shooting dead bodies with the rifle will now impart more force. Why are you shooting dead bodies? I mean, come on, you're just wasting ammo. When damaging effigies, now only the first stick gets distorted and repairing it brings it back in position. Yeah, that's good. Well, there's only 2 balances, so creepies will no longer be focused around cave entrance in late game after loading a save. They should now be distributed around a larger area. And second, reduce the number of creepies wandering outside in late game. Now that's pretty cool. I had noticed that it was insane on one playthrough, actually my first normal playthrough that I went to like day 780. Man, when I would roam around the island in that server, there were tons of creepies. A lot of the puffsters, the old male puffy, female puffies, all those guys. And that's about it for patch 09. Of course, there's a lot of fixes and audio stuff. I'll throw the links in the description, pin them in the comments. And one last thing I'll mention is it looks like the next update, patch 10, will come out in 14 days, not a month. So maybe we're getting back to that 2-week schedule that we were in the beginning. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you found it useful. As always, thank you for watching and hope to catch you in the next video.